This podcast is rated E for everyone. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Nifty Ninty. I, as always, am your host, Matt Tuna Turner. And for those of you keeping score, this is episode 24. It rhymes. Eh. I have got another great show for you guys. We've got some news. We're coming straight off the heels of that amazing Nintendo Direct we had last week, and a bombshell from my favorite Nintendo exec. But we'll get to all of that a little bit later. Why don't we run down this week's new releases? This week was a bit of a light week on the releases schedule, but I guess we shouldn't be too shocked with this because last year we got the wonderful Tetris 99 as well as demos for both Yoshi's Crafted World and Daemon X Machina. So, not the end of the world. Okay, up first we have Almost There, the platformer. Now, methinks this is probably going to be a shooter. After that, Blaze Rush. Devil Engine, Gigantic Army, Hell Warders, I Want to Fly. You know what? I want to fly too. In fact, you know what? I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. I think about it every night and day. And you know what? I even spread my wings and I fly away. Followed by Cube 2. And then after that, Quest for the Golden Duck. I wonder if that is, Howard the Duck. Only one way to find out. Followed up by Raining Coins. Now this sounds somewhat similar to New Super Mario Bros. 2 on the DS, where you're collecting a lot of golden coins. I don't know, maybe. Followed by Rotating Brave. And then we get a trilogy compilation, The Journey Down. Trine 2, the complete story, because a partial story is never good enough. Tyre, Chains of Valhalla. Is that how you pronounce that? Maybe it's Tyr. Tyre? Tyre just sounds weird, like it belongs on a car. I'm gonna go with Tyr, Tyr. You guys let me know in the comments below. Up next we have Warplanes, World War II Dogfight. That actually sounds like a lot of fun. And then after that, X-Morph Defense. I assume this is a tower defense game. And finally, on the Nindy's front, I am going to butcher this. Yumaniki Dream Diary, which I don't know anything about Japanese. In fact, as you can tell, my pronunciation is trash. But I do believe that Yumaniki actually means Dream Diary in English. So, they're hitting both an Eastern and Western market with this, although the game is literally called Dream Diary, Dream Diary. On to the package titles. There are two this week. First up, we have Origami Shadow Edition, and followed by Steins Gate Elite. So yeah, kind of light on the releases this week, although one of these games is a trilogy, so I guess you can count that as 3. But yeah, really, really light. I wonder if this means something big is coming. Maybe? I don't know. Maybe they're just kind of keeping things kind of slow until Yoshi's Crafted World comes out next month. I don't know. Or maybe they just expect people to be just caught up in that demo or Daemon X Machina, or maybe Tetris is just that popular. I don't know. But, yeah, I don't know. There aren't really any standouts either from this week. I guess maybe the Journey Down trilogy, if you really want to sink some time into, not just one, but 3 games. Also, Dream Diary kind of sounds neat. I'm not going to pronounce the Japanese word because I'm just going to offend the entire nation of Japan by doing so. Yeah, light this week, very light. All right, well, let's move on to the news and headlines. What is making news right now in the world of Nintendo? I'm going to start things off with a somewhat interesting bit of news from the Nintendo family, and that is that apparently some developers out there have got a version of Android running on the Switch. I believe it is Android Q. So Google's OS is slowly making its way to the Nintendo Switch. And of course, as we all know, those of us who have a Google phone, it is somewhat open source. And once you can get that on there, it means all sorts of goodies become available to us. So looking forward to this maybe becoming a possibility. So, fingers crossed, I guess. I'm not entirely sure what, ham-fisting this into the Nintendo Switch would do to the existing software on there. I don't know if you can dual boot it, so to speak, like have both OS or Android, and whatever the Switch's OS on at the same time. But so you may have to ditch the Switch OS in order to put Android on here. I'm not entirely positive, but it'd be a neat alternative, I guess. It kind of becomes like a tablet computer or like an iPad with controllers, or I guess a Samsung Galaxy Tab with controllers, because the iPad is iOS. But you may lose your Pokemon Let's Go save data, but at least you'll be able to run emulators, which is illegal, by the way. But it's a neat development. It's nice to see people kind of messing around with the platform and the hardware and seeing what is possible. Up next, some more interesting news about a game that is very, very old. And thanks to the joys of modern technology, some new things have come to light about this game. So, the game in question is Super Mario RPG. A lot of us played this game. It's one of the last titles on the Super Nintendo before the N64 came out. I played it on the N64. I've played it in emulations since. I've also played it a little bit on my Super Famicom Mini. And what I didn't realize, especially being able to play both the English and Japanese versions, even though I couldn't actually read the Japanese versions, what I didn't realize is that what we got in the West was a translated version that was not a true to form translation. Apparently, the Japanese version included a bunch of references to some anime, including Dragon Ball, Gundam, my personal favorite, Sailor Moon, and even like a little nod to Sega, which is kind of odd. I don't actually know what any of these references relate to or their various series, but you can, if you really want to know, you can head on the internet and take a look. But this was something kind of neat and new, I found, and it's something that we probably wouldn't have realized without people going on the internet and doing literal translation side by side between the two versions. It's kind of cool. Not gonna lie. There is a full breakdown. This was done by Legends of Localization, and they've done a full breakdown with the comparisons of the two versions of the game, which if you have a Super Nintendo or a Super Famicom Mini, or both, you can actually play side by side and probably take a look at the differences. But if you don't want to do that, I will put a link in the description below, and you can see the full breakdown done by these people. Speaking of old things becoming fashionable or new again, the Super Smash Bros. Melee characters, the Ice Climbers, this only refers to Smash Bros. Melee, by the way. The Smash Bros. Melee Ice Climbers have an ability that is known in the pro circuit as called wobbling. I don't know it because I don't use the Ice Climbers, and I'm on to Ultimate. I don't play Melee anymore, even though Melee is probably still the best in the series. But apparently, the Ice Climbers have a technique called wobbling, and their technique has officially been banned from the pro circuit. Now, I know a lot of people are very happy about this because apparently it makes them very, very, very difficult to hit, almost to the point where they're unstoppable. So obviously, the people who use ice climbers, not happy. The people who don't use ice climbers, very happy, very happy. So that is for only, like I said, the Smash Bros. Melee tournaments. This does not apply to Ultimate because that technique was removed in subsequent titles. So don't have to worry about that if you're out there playing Ultimate and getting geared up for your next tournament. Only if you are out there still playing Melee. And if you are, it's pretty awesome. Glad to see the GameCube still living. And finally, sadly, we're going to end this with some very, very sad news and a bombshell that personally I wasn't expecting anytime soon. But my favorite Nintendo exec and president of Nintendo of America, Reggie Fils-Aime, officially announced his retirement this past week. Let's just have a moment of silence if we can. Yeah, okay, they're like doing construction outside of my window, so not all that silent, but hey, I'm trying here. Reggie was he was more than just a corporate stooge. There's a reason he became president of Nintendo of America. He was a pitchman. He came from Pepsi before Nintendo, and he did amazing things over at Pepsi. And he did amazing things at Nintendo as well. And in a very, very, very heartfelt video, he announced his retirement. And personally, I'm sad because he, in my opinion, outside of especially once Iwata passed away, was really kind of the face of Nintendo, especially in the West. We all know who Miyamoto-san is, but we don't really see him a lot. He doesn't do a lot of press. Reggie really did. He was up there at E3. He'd go to the talk shows and promote the consoles and the games. And he did it with his like trademark cadence and a wonderful smile. He was always such a happy guy, and he really felt like he gave himself all to Nintendo. And I think that's maybe why he's retiring. And it seemed like amicable. I believe that he's kind of done what he wanted to do, and now he wants to spend time with his family and his children, and you can't fault him for that. It's just sad. It's kind of sad to see a legend in the industry retire. And, I'm going to miss him. His retirement, or sorry, not his retirement, his replacement is a man named Doug Bowser. So go figure, the keys to the Mushroom Kingdom are literally being handed over to Bowser. Kind of funny, but at least the guy probably belongs somewhere in Nintendo offices. So Dougie Bowser, we wish you all the best. The transition is going to take a few months, so Reggie's still around until April, and I really, 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 really hope that maybe we will see a little cameo or appearance from Reggie at E3. It would really, really be cool to just see him say goodbye there on the stage. Oh, they don't really do the stage thing anymore. They do the directs, but you know what I mean. It'd be nice to see him take a bow there, throw his cap, and say goodbye. Reggie, you will be missed. I'm sad. I think I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I think maybe I'll do a Reggie retrospective somewhere down the line. I'm going to do some research and see what I can find. Would you guys enjoy that? Would you like to see a retrospective on Reggie Fils-Aime? Or maybe Satoru Iwata? Although, his passing was a number of years ago. Still, ripples through the industry, of course, and my heart. But, yeah, sad. Goodbye, Reggie. Alright, well, I originally had something else planned for this segment, but then I hopped onto Twitter and I started to see people retweeting a certain announcement from everybody's favorite company, Nintendo of America, and it was saying that there was going to be a Pokemon Direct coming out in a day or so. And I was like, okay, maybe I'll hold off. I'll hold off and wait because I think that's pretty big news. We're getting not one but two directs this month, and one is just about Pokemon. By the way, it coincided with the beginning of Pokemon Day. So happy Pokemon Day, everyone. But so I decided to just kind of hold off and see what this direct was all about. It was short. It was 7 minutes and 1 second. They did say on Twitter that it would be around 7 minutes. Not only did I get a whole bunch of people tweeting it, so it filled my feed, but I also got an email from the Pokemon company saying that there's going to be a direct coming. So it was obviously very real and not somebody trolling. So, we got it. And was it worth it? Kind of. It was it was standard direct stuff. I felt like it should have been included in the direct we got earlier, but I think they didn't want to take away maybe too much from Fire Emblem or Dragon Quest or the Link's Awakening announcement, which I think honestly is the big title for the holiday season. The new Pokemon games. This is an official sequel in the mainline Pokemon RPG. So this is Gen 8. Gen 8 is here. It will be coming, I assume, this November, because that's when all the Pokemon games seem to be released. These games are called Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield. So that is what you have to look forward to in November of this year. That is what Gen 8 will be. So the direct, like I said, was very short. It was 7 minutes. It wasn't very long. They showed off some stuff. It was mostly, president of Game Freak, Pokemon Company, the director and producer of the game speaking. We got some footage that was in-game but not finished because they still have a lot of time left. And then we had some pre-rendered cutscenes to show off the new starters of the game that they were not actual in-game footage. But what did we see? So what did we see? Reactions, that sort of stuff. That's what you come here for. The game takes place in a new region, so we aren't getting a rehash. It's a new region called the Galar region. It is basically one long island, and it looks like you'll be starting at the bottom and working your way to the top. So kind of straightforward. It seems kind of linear, which is kind of a shame. The three starters, they look cool. You've got a fire bunny, a grass monkey, and a water lizard. I believe the monkey's called Grookey, the bunny's called Score Bunny, and the water lizard, I can't remember its name. It's actually kind of sad because it's a very timid animal. The Score Bunny is very fast and full of energy, and the monkey is very mischievous. That's how they describe them. But so they look cool. We don't get to see any of them really in action. Those all came in the pre-rendered part of the game. The setting for Galar itself looks like kind of, I would say, post-industrial revolution, or even kind of industrial revolution UK almost. So it looks very heavily inspired by England. I don't know if the characters are going to have any accents like the NPCs or stuff. I don't even know if they're going to have voices because we didn't get a whole lot of any of that kind of footage. We got to hear the cries of the three starters, but they sound like uh, I'd say GBA style cries. I was kind of hoping for maybe something a little more realistic than what we got. The game itself is standard Pokemon fare. We set out on our journey, in this case from top to bottom. The Pokemon League Final Four is at the very top of the island, and between your home and it are plains and mountains and caves and cities and all sorts of neat stuff to explore. However, I do have to say, as beautiful as the landscapes are, it does kind of feel like this game is. It kind of feels like it's a 3DS game that they've up-resed imported to the Switch. I personally, I was kind of hoping for something closer to Breath of the Wild or Monster Hunter out of Pokemon, but I guess shouldn't be too surprised. They probably still want to keep, old and core Pokemon fans happy. I still think you could do that and deviate from the formula a little. Excuse me. We saw that with Zelda, but I don't know. It shouldn't really surprise anyone. I mean, when the Switch was rumored, the folks at was it Game Freak or the Pokemon Company, I don't remember, didn't believe in the Switch. So it's possible that after Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, that they had started working on these games for the DS family of systems, and when the Switch became the success that it is, Nintendo said, "No, y'all have to switch." So, switch gears like now. And they went, "Oh, okay, fine. I guess this thing is sticking around." So that's probably what happened, I assume. So this probably wasn't made from the ground up for Switch. It's probable that this had its beginnings on the DS family systems, and that's why the character models and the camera seems to be fixed and look like the DS family games. So Pokemon Y or Sun and Moon, X and Y, sorry. But we're finally getting a console Pokemon RPG, and it is going to be exactly like the previous generations of Pokemon RPGs that we've all experienced and loved. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. Maybe that's why they call it Sword and Shield. But so we're getting, a Pokemon RPG that we all love, but at the same time, I was kind of hoping for something a little more. Hopefully, this isn't a game that is completely on rails like Pokemon XD was, Gale of Darkness, if any of you remember that game for the GameCube. But it kind of looks like you're on corridors and stuff. Oh, also, deviating from Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, random encounters are back. So the Pokemon aren't just hanging out for you to see and catch. I don't see the catch mechanic from Pogo Let's Go in this game. It looks like it's gone back to the traditional catch mechanic. The environment does look more full and fleshed out than Let's Go, which would make sense because Let's Go was just a Pokemon Yellow remake. So you're going from Game Boy to Switch at that point. But so the environment is full, and it does look nice, especially the snow parts. It looks good. I didn't see a whole lot of stuff on water. They didn't announce any new Pokemon outside of the three starters, so we're gonna have to wait for more info on that. There's a lot of more information. I think that still needs to be released for these games before making a true judgment call. I'm hoping that this is just a little taste, just to kind of whet our appetites in the run up to E3. I still think E3 is going to be mostly Animal Crossing, though. Yeah, probably mostly Animal Crossing. However, you never know what is coming down the pipe. I'm still hoping that they pull a little bait and switch, and we're able to kind of explore the Galar region freely, and that there is just a touch more open worldness to this game than what we saw in the trailer. They did say it was a little subtext saying that not final game footage or not in-game footage. So there's still time. There's still time. But cautiously optimistic still for Pokemon Sword and Shield. What do you guys think of the names? Pokemon Sword and Shield. We had Red and Blue, or Red and Green if you're in Japan. We had Gold, Silver, Crystal, Ruby, Diamond, Emerald, Black and White, and then of course Black and White 2. We had X and Y, we had Sun and Moon. So they've kind of been all over the map with these names. I kind of like Sword and Shield. In fact, the Galar region kind of looks a bit like a sword blade, to be honest. So that's probably the inspiration for that title. And which one are you guys going to pick up? Are you guys going to get Sword? Are you going to get Shield? Personally, I'm kind of leaning towards Shield, but I'm waiting to see which legendaries come out or are announced for each title. I remember when Sun and Moon came out, I was really looking forward to getting Sun, but then I saw that awesome looking bat. I was like, oh, okay, never mind, I have to get Moon. So, just have to wait and see. Wait and see what the legendaries look like. But like I said, cautiously optimistic for Pokemon Sword and Shield. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Which starter you think you'll get, which game you think you'll get, and what you thought of the Direct. Maybe you're hoping for a little more. Maybe you just can't, and you're done. That's all the Pokemon you need, and you just already take my money. Let me know. I'm curious. All right, well, that's it for another episode of Nifty Ninty. I hope you enjoyed this week's show. We were not expecting to get that Pokemon news, but it is a welcome addition. The low slate of releases was a bit of a surprise, and of course, the sad news of Reggie Fils-Aime officially retiring from Nintendo of America come this April. So, yeah, just a mixed emotions this week, from extreme highs to the lows. But I guess that's part of the human condition, sadly. Well, if you like what you see, please do remember to subscribe and hit that little bell for notifications so you know exactly when new stuff comes to the channel. There will be other videos. I promise. I am working on other stuff. I think I would also like to do a retrospective for Reggie, speaking of the man himself. And for those of you on iTunes, thank you for subscribing. And please do tell your friends, let them know if they're Nintendo fans that they can also subscribe. Also, I am a one-man show. I fund this all myself, so any help would be greatly appreciated. And if you would like to support me in what I do, my endeavors, please do head over to Patreon, patreon.com/tunaentertainment. Also, my website, tunaentertainment.com, and you can also find me on Twitter at tunaent_official. That's the number 2 NAENT_official. And until next week, stay safe and stay nifty. Hello? Is this thing on?